owner Phil Knight. So let's start with the video. About the author Phil Knight. Phil Knight was born on February 24, 1930 in the state of Portland, Oregon, in United States of America. He is the writer of the book. He is the owner of the company Nike and the writer of the book Shoe Dog. He When he was small, he attended the University of Oregon, where he was also a middle distance runner on the track team where the coach was Mr. Bill Bowerman. The nice memoir Shoe Dog is basically into its journey of from Blue Ribbon to Nike, and how Nike triumphed from being a small startup to a global sports apparel giant today by defeating its major competitors. Timeline. Nike was initially formed in 1964 as Blue Ribbon Sports. In 1973, Blue Ribbon Sports ceased to exist, and the formation of Nike was done after a legal battle from its suppliers named Onitsuka. Nike was formed by co-founders Phil Knight and Bill Bowerman, when Nike formed its first swoosh logo and signed the first endorsements. One of the breakthroughs came for Nike in the year 1979, when Nike patented a game-changing cushioning technology that was developed by a NASA engineer, which was one of the major business, which became to be one of the major one of the most important and major shoe selling track for Nike in the future. 1984, Nike signed one of the biggest endorsements in Nike's history with Michael Jordan and launched the iconic Air Jordan series, which for the first time, which is even popular today. 1988, Nike launched the Just Do It campaign, which is its signal motto even today. 2003, Nike acquires Converse for a record $309 billion, and and today it is one of the major shoe businesses and one of the major sellers of Nike. 2015, Nike becomes the official supplier for NBA apparels, and in latest year 2021, Nike has recorded 126% jumps in its profits, which is the highest ever in the history of Nike. That is from the that is which it has existed for the past 50 to 55 years. Start Start of Blue Ribbon. As I told you, the Blue Ribbon Nike was initially started as Blue Ribbon Sports. How the interest came on? As we know, Bill Bowerman was a childhood coach for Phil Knight during his running days. Bill Bowerman had an insane obsession for lighter and better shoes. He kept on experimenting with them and innovating in order to build better and better shoes and lighter shoes. His idea was that the lighter the shoe, the farther the distance the runner could run in a lesser amount of time. So Bill experimented innovation with his runners and also Phil Knight. From that point of time, Phil's interest in shoes developed. For the first time, Phil Knight visited Japan in 1963. But why did he visit Japan? Before visiting Japan, Phil Knight had built an obsession or a favor for a tiger named shoe, which was a brand named Onitsuka, based on Japan. He started to think about doing business with them and in launching his initial career along with partnering with Onitsuka. He went on to Japan in 1963, and between 1 year, 1960 1964, he cracked the business with them and received the first shipment of shoe worth 1,000 pairs, of which was worth $3.33 each. That is over 300 shoes. He sent the first shipment of the first 2 pairs of the shipment to his childhood coach Bill Bowerman without any doubt, and as he thought that the obsession Bill Bowerman had for the shoes could provide to be a major breakthrough for him, as if he liked the shoe or if there was any kind of positive approach from Bill Bowerman, it could be a very big thing for Phil. But to his surprise, Bowerman liked the shoes so much that he offered a 50-50 partnership for the Blue Ribbon along with Nike, and both established Blue Ribbon with on Blue Ribbon 50-50 partnership. Starting initial sales, Phil started to sell the shoes, that is the Tiger and the various other shoes, by visiting various track meets and showcasing them to various coaches, runners, and the other people who were present there. He traveled on foot, and he traveled basically everywhere, every track meet that he could in his local Oregon, California, everywhere he could, in order to sell some shoes. After a few time, he partnered with his friend Johnson, who decided and who agreed to sell the shoes on a commission basis. So these were the first initial sales that were done by Phil. Competition. The first competition Nike faced was from an unknown competitor from East, the later known as Marlboro Man. The competitor claimed to be the major supplier for Onitsuka in US, and he threatened Phil to shut down his business. This was the first threat that Phil ever received, and this left him in pieces and shocks. And to and to clear this issue, he decided to confess this is Onitsuka. And after various processes, he got their trust. He got the trust and got the distribution rights for the Western US courts, and for after which he put a very huge order, which embarked his journey into a larger segment, into the segment in the in the large basis. This 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 uh, as the Phil thought that this risk is over, but later will we know this was only temporary. Financial and experimentations. uh, Phil, at that time there was only two banks in the were only two banks in USA, and the one which in which Phil had, Bank of America, was the only one he could trust. So, and the absence of VCs and the other investment and other financing options, the financing for Phil and his company was very restricted. So he first faced the financial problem when Phil's banker was against his rapid growth process. Phil believed in rapid growth and was investing every penny that he earned without keeping any money for him or for the company as cash. He reinvested back into the company, which was seemed to be a red flag for his banker. And the company that the bank who it was the bank who provided Phil cash to run his business. So this was a threat for him, as he had to work along with them, keeping them in trust so that does not lose their financing. Experimentation. Bowerman later joined the company not only as a co-founder but as an ambassador of Blue Ribbon. As an ambassador of Blue Ribbon, he visits Japan on a frequent basis, and uh, and as discussed earlier, Bowerman was continuously experimenting with his shoes, and he wrote those letters. He wrote the experiments to Onitsuka, but he didn't get any responses or a very enthusiastic or a positive response from Onitsuka. But they continued experimenting, and they continued writing to Onitsuka in hope for a better technology and a better shoes. Next, scaling prospects. 1966, Phil met Johnson. Johnson met the impossible goal set by Phil by selling over 3,000 pairs of shoes. And due to this, they decided to open a new store in Santa Monica, California. This was the first ever retail store set up by Blue Ribbon. The store eventually went forward to be a huge hit, and it became a sanctuary for runners, which were decorated with runners' books, photos, and various other running and tracking activities. And it became a place for runners to celebrate, and providing them various type of shoes for their success and for their marathons, which was very important and provided to be a huge hit for Nike. Then Phil hires Woodell as an employee and transfers him to work at a new office. What does this mean? Phil and the Phil and his company, that is Blue Ribbon, they set up a new workspace, that is new office. Earlier they were working from their homes, in their pay, from their parents backyard, or from their parents anything. They were renting a small apartment and working from there. But this, but after the first retail store, the opening of a new workspace, buying new desks, creating a retail office area where Bowerman and Phil and Woodell could visit and do their office work, was a embarkment, was a very important for the company, as it marks the first scaling, one of the first scaling prospects for the company. Next, Johnson, who was earlier in the Santa Monica store, he's transferred, and he sets up a new office in Wellesley, Massachusetts. He f- it was in the eastern side of, it was the eastern coast. After Blue Ribbon got the exclusive distribution rights to sell shoes in the eastern coast, Johnson set up a new office in Massachusetts, Wellesley. Why Wellesley? Mass Johnson found Wellesley appealing due to its scenic landscapes and various Boston marathons route running through it, which could provide to be a major point for the shoe selling business. He rents a small house there, and he sells a house behind a funeral parlor, and suggests feel and he moves on into his office that he opened, so that he could cut on costs. He also suggests Phil to do the same in order to save some costs. Next, the birth of Nike. How was Nike born? First, Nike was born due to some major issues between Blue Ribbon and Onitsuka. The first issue was communication delays. Onitsuka often faced delays in shipping the products. That is, upon orders by Blue Ribbon, Phil and his company did not receive the products on time, which left them. And as we know, they were running on loans. From his banker. They were running on loans. They were taking loans and running the company. So this left them with a very little time to sell the shoes and repay their loans or interest to this company, which posed a financing threat for the company, that they could not get that business could be could be deemed not welcome by the bankers. That is, the business could have been shut. That is so this communication delay and this shipping products was one of the major red flags for Blue Ribbon. Also, as I told, Bowerman was continuously writing letters to Onizuka regarding various innovations and shoes, but they were not responding in a positive manner. So this left Onizuka, Bowerman, Phil, and their company hanging that whether they're even interested or not. Second, the Marlboro Man's threat. As we discussed in the earlier slide, the Marlboro Man threatened Phil and his company to shut their business in UK. Yeah, sorry, my bad. To shut their business in USA, as he claimed to be the exclusive distributor for Onizuka in the US. But later in 1966, Blue Ribbon found out that had uh, the same man had filed as an national advertisement in the track and field magazine, which was very popular back then. So this was a breach of their territory, as they had gained the as they had already had the exclusive distribution rights from Onizuka. This was a major threat for them, that a competitor has returned and Onizuka was not fulfilling their words. Contract woes. One of the major reasons in the breakup of in the क्या बोल रहा था भाई रुक contract woes. Now, after the Marlboro Man's threat, Phil and his company had intentions for a longer deal, so that they could secure their business and the shoe supply for a longer period of time and could be relaxed. But on the other hand, Onizuka were insisting on only a 3-year deal, which was a bit of a point to think for Phil. Also, exact at the same time, Phil and his company had a very had a financing problem, and the relations from with the and the relations from with their company with the bankers took a bad turn. The and after the contracts problem, they Phil got to know that Onizuka were searching for a new distributor for Tiger and their other shoes in USA. So this was a point to worry for them, as they were as neither Phil and his company were getting a longer deal, and on the other hand, Onizuka were searching for a new contractor and their new distributor to sell their shoes. So this could lead to their business being destroyed completely. Then come breakup of ties. I feel had a bad history from with Kitami, an important who is an important employee of Onizuka. And unfortunately for Phil, during this contract wars and during this bad time, during this struggle time, Kitami gets promoted to the operation managers, and very close to the owner of Onizuka company, Mr. Onizuka. So due to that, Kitami offers that Onizuka could take over Blue Ribbon, and this was a pure moment of shock for Phil, and he was not expecting that, and he knew that their ties would eventually end. At the end, Phil refuses these ties, and the ties between Onizuka and Blue Ribbon come to an end. Now, lastly, the formation of Nike. After the supply was ended from Onitsuka, Blue Ribbon had to re- Blue Ribbon obviously had to search for another supplier or another factory so that they can continue their business. They started searching for various factories. They find a Mexican factory and signed the contract to build to manufacture and sell shoes to Phil and his company Blue Ribbon. Then then also Phil and Bowerman and other people they travel to various Japanese factories for supply and even supply of shoes, and also for various financing options, as the ties with their bankers has also ended. And eventually they found Nike. They hired the designer. They built the iconic Nike logo, swoosh logo, and in the end they found the formation of Nike was done in 1974. So now I would like to invite Sayyam to continue.
Thank you, Vedans. Now I would like to continue further with the next topic, which is product development. So, what is product development? Product development is the process of coming up with new ideas or improving the existing products of your company. It involves creating and designing new things, testing them to make sure they are ready to use and good for customers to use or buy. It's about making the product that the consumers will like and finding ways to make them better. Now, why is product development important in all sorts of industry? Product development is important because it leads to innovation, new product launches. New product launches leads to better performance for the company. Now, in footwear industry is highly commoditized industry. There is not every company is making the same sorts of slippers, sandals, or shoes. So, for a new company to come in, it either has to provide a better design or a better comfort by good technology. Design is not sustainable because design can be copied easily. But technology can be patented, and this patent gives you a competition. So, and product development is not only important in the beginning. Product development needs to be continuous. You need to continuously keep coming up with new products, new innovations, so that you stay relevant in the market and sustain your good performance. Now, so what we have established is that why is product development importance in footwear industry comes down to 3 points. It is either competitive edge that you get by regularly and continuously innovating new products, introducing new products, launching new products. In this way, you can stay ahead of the competition. And the second point comes down to customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction is important. If you continue to innovate new products, make your existing products better, This leads to better customer satisfaction. If the customer is satisfied, the customer will come again, and this leads to recurring revenue for the company. And the third point is now eventually business growth. If all the previous points get satisfied, the business, the that reflection, the production, that continuous product development reflection can be seen in the financial performance of the company. Now let's see what Nike did relating to product development that helped Nike to gain market share while competing with established companies like Adidas and Converse. So, we saw Bill Bowerman was the co-founder of Nike. He was also a field coach. He used to train athletes and runners. So, as a field coach, he always used to try and experiment and find ways to make better shoes for his athletes to perform better. Some of the shoes that Bowerman introduced that laid the early foundation for Nike were Cortez, Boston, Waffle trainers. Let's see Nike Cortez. Nike Cortez, this shoe he developed to for better cushioning in the midsole of the shoe, so that better cushioning reduces the pain for the runners when landing. So when if the pain is reduced, the runners can eventually run longer, which is highly important while competing in marathons and all. So Cortez was a shoe that he developed when the company was still known as Blue Ribbon. So he developed the shoes and sent the prototype to Onitsuka. And then when Onitsuka sent the shoes after seeing the prototype, the shoes was an immediate hit. But after the legal case with Onitsuka, Nike retained the rights of Cortez and eventually Boston as well. So Nike Boston was also a shoe that it developed at the time of Blue Ribbon. So he developed this shoe. He also sent the prototype to Onitsuka, and then this shoe, when also sold in US market, was a immediate hit. The next shoe, which is this is a very the innovation idea behind this shoe was very funny. Bill Bowerman, in fact, gained the idea of innovating this shoe from a waffle iron. So while sitting one day, he saw the gridded pattern on waffle iron, and he thought that this pattern could be useful while for a better grip on polyurethane tracks that were a spongy surface. So you see here that this gridded pattern, this can be used as this had small dots, small rectangular boxes that could help runners get better grip on spongy surfaces. So he introduced this during the Olympics when the track races were supposed to be happening on polyurethane tracks. So this shoes was also immediate hit when launched in the market. Next is the air soles. So a aerotech engineer named Frank Rudy introduced this air soles technology. It was basically into taking the air packed bags and filling it inside the and laying it inside the midsole so that you get better cushioning. We all we already saw what was the importance of cushioning for a runner. So these air-filled bags were placed within the midsole that provided better comfort and reduced the pressure on heels of a runner. So Nike, as we saw the importance of patenting a technology, Nike patented this technology and this patented technology eventually helped Nike to diversify into more products from this air sole from this air sole technology. The next is how product innovation can help you build customer loyalty. So this was a case in 1976 when Nike launched a shoe named LD 1000. This was a shoe which had an extreme flared heel. That means it had a higher heel as compared to normal shoes. So the idea behind these shoes was that a flared heel would give runners better would help runners in better landing while running. But so when the shoes was launched, the shoes was an instant hit. But after some uses, when the customers used the shoe, they faced issue that if the runner by chance didn't land right, this could lead to knee injuries for the runners. So these shoes faced many problems. So Nike was quick to issue a recall and was ready to face public backlash for creating a faulty shoe. But in instead, what happened was that Nike actually received gratitude from the customers because it was the only company at that time that was innovating and trying out new things in these industries. While Adidas and Converse they were not trying out new things. Aerosol technology that we saw previously was first Was first pitched by Frank Rudy to Adidas, but Adidas rejected it, and then Nike accepted, and this changed the fortune for Nike as well. So, product innovation, rather than what we saw importance like competitive edge, business growth, it also builds you customer loyalty and brand loyalty. Now let's start with the next topic, which is human resource management. So why is human resource management important? Human resource management is important because it's all about your taking care of the people who work in your company. It's like making sure everyone has what they need to do their job well and feel happy at work. This helps the company indeed. If the employees are happy, they do their best work and help the company succeed. Now let's see how Nike manages human resource. Starting with recruitment. So, what do we learn from Nike about recruiting people in initial stages? So, Nike, when initially the employees that were hired were only used as salespeople and they were mostly ex-runners, as it helped the company because these ex-runners were actually obsessed with the shoes that helped the runners in it. So, them being obsessed about the product that they are selling, eventually led to better sales for the company. The next is the hiring of Sony Vaccaro. Sony Vaccaro came to Nike to pitch a product idea that he developed, but the product was not good enough. Phil Knight did not feel that the product was good enough to be investable. So, but because Sony Vaccaro had a very good network of all the US high school basketball coaches, Phil jumped at this opportunity and hired him immediately after getting to know about that contact that he had. And the third point is that how Phil Knight used to look at mostly accountants and lawyers while looking for potential employer for his company because he believed that the employees that he is hiring should be intelligent enough so that they could be at least give a solution or provide a solution or take out a solution for for a problem for a problem that a company is facing because he looked at lawyers and accountants at that time because he felt that at that time he felt that law and accounts were one of the toughest courses that they studied and they also cleared one of the toughest exams at that time. So he believed that hiring them meant that they were at least intelligent so they could get in some roles. Hiring, say example, hiring a special product manager. This concentrated the scope that the employee that the or the person could do. But hiring intelligent people widens the scope that the employees could work or widens the work that employee could do. The next is how Phil Knight used true potential of every of employees that worked in his company. Recognizing the true potential of employees is highly important for the efficiency of the company. Let's say if you place a guy that is very good at networking, very good at communication, you place him to manage a product line. That is a waste of talent. It is clear that he should be placed at sales team. So, like this only, some of the examples from the book is that how Phil Knight used Woodle. Woodle Woodall was very good at administrative work, organizing work. So he used Woodall to take on places which required too many administrative work or organizing work. And indeed used Johnson, who was good at designing stuff. He also designed the shoe with Bowerman that we saw previously. Next was hiring Stresser. He hired Stresser as an in-house counsel for the company. But after working for few years with Nike, he realized that Stressel was very good at negotiating. So he placed Stressel at marketing team and Stressel eventually helped Nike cut costs on many deals that he negotiated. And these are just few examples. There were many more examples that how Phil Knight was able to recognize the true potential of the employees and always use them to get the best out of them. The next is getting the perfect top management or getting the initial team right. In this case, the founder in initial stages, founder is a very important part of top management. So in this case, Phil Knight, the founder had a solid vision for himself. His strategy, which could be seen in his strategy of growing aggressively by reinvesting every profit back into the business. Next is Mark Woodall and Bob Hayes. They played crucial roles in establishing and maintaining efficient accounting systems and uh, ensuring operational accuracy in the company. The and not only founders, the top management team also good at tactical and strategical thinking. This the top management helped Phil Knight in in great way by giving him many ideas on future growth for the company. So getting the initial team right, Phil Knight was able to get this first step of building a successful business, and which eventually helped him build Nike, and we can see what Nike is Nike today. So now I would like to invite Urvin for the next topics that you would like to explain or to continue the video further.
Thank you, Sayyam. Now I would like to assist you guys further in this video. Let us look how Nike scaled and growth from its earlier phases. What tactics did the founder use to build Nike as a global brand? Now Uh, there was an industry-wide problem which Nike solved very efficiently and innovatively. Now Nike was aware of limitation of sports shoe segment as it was a very niche market, and in order for them to grow more sustainably, they needed to grow their customer base. This was possible only by offering a shoe that was not just a sportswear. People could wear that shoe and on multiple occasions. Now this was perfectly executed by Nike. What happened was they took an existing line of product, their waffle trainers, and made designed them in color blue to complement jeans. Now this was game changer. People could wear that shoes not just for sports but for even casual events such as grocery shopping, attending birthday parties, attending classes. This was not just a sports shoe but a fashion statement. This played a crucial role in sustainable growth of the company. Now let us look at how Nike used uh, essentially free endorsements to build their brand. Now Nike had very limited resources. They weren't able to conduct market research and other crucial tasks to build their brand. So they came up with the idea. They hired a guy that would only that his only task was to distribute free shoes in Hollywood. They were hoping that they would wear these celebrities would wear these shoes in publics, giving them free publicity. Uh, Giving them free publicity. The idea was to tap into influencer marketing. Suppose your favorite influencer was wearing a Nike shoe, he would be very excited and possibly buy a Nike. Now Nike got for their first breakthrough. Farrah Fawcett, where their line of product Cortez in an episode of Charlie's Angels. Uh, when people saw this episode, the demand grew exponentially to a point where Nike wasn't able to fulfill the demands. They had to bring a lot more shipments. This was when pathed the way. This pathed the way to this pathed the way for their future endorsements. They then uh, started tapping into famous celebrities and athletes to for their endorsements and giving them. Yeah, excuse me, sorry for that. Now let us look how Phil grew his brand exponentially from zero. Now the several instances in the book suggest the company had repeated issue of liquidity. They were always low on cash. Bankers repeatedly suggested that they should slow down their orders and build up cash balances in order to have some liquidity. But Phil refused to let even a penny go idle and reinvested all his money into ordering more units. Now, this move was very risky and bold. There are various risks as you would have no financial cushion to cater to any economic downturns or any uncertainty. Now, this worked in this case. This worked in this case, leading to having a growth at such stage that that company was able to focus on other aspects of costs and grow the brand exponentially. Now, the Nike Phil refused to give up equity and focused on debt financing more than equity. Why was that? Let us look into it. Growth based on debt. Several instances suggest that Phil did not wanted to give up equity and grow based on debt only in the earlier phases of this business. On earlier phases of his business, there are instances such as when he confronted Lisho, their credit provider, that he would not give up equity ever in his of his company. Uh, this was a bold statement. Now, it is important to know here that the company went public in 1980, but promoter retained control in exponential growth years when he needed to build Nike, a brand from zero. Now it is an important trait to highlight here about Phil is that he learned from his past mistakes. Let me give you some context. When Blue Ribbon Sports was importing shoes from Onitsuka, they had a contract, Onitsuka and Blue Ribbon. Blue Ribbon wasn't allowed to sell any other brand shoes for uh, track and track and Onitsuka and Blue Ribbon will be sole distributor of Onitsuka in United States. Now Onitsuka tried to breach this contract and threatened the Blue Ribbon into giving up the company or they would stop supplying the shoes. They struck fear in Phil's mind and about Japanese companies taking up equity in the company, and he clarified no equity to Japanese creditor beforehand. Now let us tap into why Nike had to wanted to expand in apparel or clothing or other clothing industry. Now let us focus on why it is important. It was important for brands to tap into this apparel industry. First of the reason that strikes to my mind is brand extension. Apparel industry complemented the shoe industry. Uh, Now Nike was not merely a shoe brand, but it had a wider product portfolio to offer. Uh, they essentially tapped into Adidas and Puma, which already had a successful apparel as well as shoe industry. Why did brands wanted to widen their product portfolio or offer more products? One of the reasons was endorsements. Let us assume you and I are an athlete. We have two brand offers. One is merely a shoe company and other has a wider product portfolio. We would like to go with wider product portfolio even if he offers us a lesser amount, as it is more lucrative, as we would get more than just shoes. This means that wider product portfolio would lure athletes and celebrities into sweeter deals. Now this also provided a competitive advantage as a competitive advantage. Now in minds of customers, Nike was a bigger brand. They had more products to offer. Uh, they div- uh, they diversified their product portfolio, mitigating the risks associated with a product. Even if the shoe market is in a slowdown, maybe the apparel market will still be going on, lowering the risks. Uh, Now let us look how Nike manage its value chain. What essentially is value chain? Value chain is the sequence of activities and processes that go on from acquiring raw material to the final delivery of the product, to the final supply of the product. All the tasks that add value to the final offering are included in value addition or value chain. Let us look at how supply chain issues were at Nike. The delay in shipments caused the company to have lower sales. Lower sales meant they couldn't repay debtors on time. No repayment meant that they couldn't borrow more. This would ultimately lead to delay of further orders, future orders. So this was a real risk. This was a real problem at Nike. Now, how what did the founders do to address to this issue? They came up with a brilliant idea. They offered retail stores hefty and attractive discounts, and in exchange, they asked retail stores to place an advance order almost as long as 6 months prior to delivery. Now, this helped with liquidity a lot. uh, the company would be able to focus on so much more things than just uh, getting the delivery, taking costs, and etc., repaying the debt. So they had a surplus amount of cash, surplus funds. These funds could be used in many things. They ultimately use this cash for product development, acquiring backward integrating their company and saving cost. This would all come in further. Now let us look into backward integration, which is precisely what is covered in our next slide. What is backward integration? Essentially, if I am a shoe company, or if I'm a mobile company, me acquiring the raw material supplier of my company is backward integration. Backward integration comes with a lot of advantages. Sorry. Yeah, backward integration comes with a lot of advantages. So essentially, what happened is Nike decided to acquire a rubber mill. Now, rubber is a core raw material for shoes. Outer sole of the shoe, this one is majorly made of rubber. So what advantages did it provide to the company? Uh, So first of all is the company was in absolute control of its raw material supplier. This helped in lowering cost, fostering innovation and product development. This ultimately led to consumer mindset. Now consumers were impressed by the consistent and higher quality of goods provided by Nike, as they had strict quality standards and higher innovation frame, as they owned their own mill. This provided a competitive advantage against its competitors. Uh, uh, this fostered the name of the brand in minds of consumers. Uh, Now, this ability to control the quality of raw materials also helped in supply chain. Why is that? So, if I own my mill, I can impose quality restrictions, time frames, and they had to be abided. So, this would help me in manufacturing faster. So, I would be my own supplier leading. So if there are new trends in the market, I would be able to jump on that, take advantage of that. Also it helped in long-term sustainability of the company. By acquiring my raw material supplier, I would uh, eliminate the outsider risk of suppliers. Uh, there can be governance issues, etc., with the suppliers, which I am avoiding now. Now let us look into how Nike manage its manufacturing plants. So, as it is established by now, Nike started manufacturing its own shoes, branded Nike shoes in Japan. But due to a increase in cost and other unfavorable circumstances, manufacturers started leaving Japan and shifted to either of these countries. One of them is Korea. Now Korea had fewer but larger production mills or units, whereas Taiwan had many smaller production units. Uh, Let us understand how and what did Nike choose. So Nike chose the Taiwan. The reason for that is Nike had lower volumes and higher customizations. This would only be possible to execute if the company had dominance over its management units, manufacturing units. Smaller mills were easy to dominate, and uh, thus helped the company to execute its operations. Now, this highlights a very important uh, place strategic placement of manufacturers in footwear industry. What advantages does it provide if I place my factory strategically in footwear industry? So first of all is efficient supply chain. I can place my manufacturing units near raw material and my core distributors. This would shorten the shipment timing and lower the cost of shipments. Another is uh, Another is lowering costs. So I can choose a country with lower labor costs and production costs. This would help me to this would help me to provide this would help me to reduce my product pricing or increase margin, providing me with a competitive edge against my competitors. Now, one of more of the reasons is compliance with regulations. So I can choose a country that has robust laws and labor and production laws. So I could be a more contributing to the environment and social and governance related issues. One more is risk diversification. By setting up smaller plants in diversified area would help me mitigate the risk of uh, natural disasters, governance issues, etc. Now, I would like to invite Janab for further assistance. Thank you.
Thank you, Irvin. Now we would be looking into how Nike grew as a brand. Today, Nike is worth millions and billions, but what all went into building this brand? It is such a huge brand that today we would like to buy a fake Nike over a particular brand. So we would look into what all things did Nike did to build such a great brand. What all techniques did Nike use to build such a great brand? So let's get into it. So initially, Nike only and only focused on athletes and sport enthusiasts. It was placed as a company that would make high quality athletic shoes for. So it was basically a performance driven brand. So initially, Nike only focused on this athletic and sports enthusiasts. So, so in order to attract this segment of customers, they were only were focusing on sponsoring athletes and using athlete as their as part of their marketing. So what they were doing were they were sponsoring athletes. So this increases the brand visibility. Or if an athlete is performing somewhere wearing Nike apparel, but initially it was only the Nike shoes. So if an athlete is wearing Nike shoe and winning a tournament, it would increase the visibility of Nike shoe, and eventually it will come into eyes of customers. So they used to sponsor athletes and teams. They also used to endorse athletes. So what is endorsement? Endorsement is nothing but just long-term contracts. So these long-term contracts were given to some of the huge sports person, which were eventually going to be huge according to Nike. And so they also did so much of event marketing. Event marketing means like sponsoring the events, sports events like Olympics, then NBA. This all increases the visibility of a brand, and also they in their advertising they focus only on athletes. So their advertisement would include athletes as actors, as acting in the advertisement. So this advertisement often featured athlete partners showcasing their skills and achievements. So this campaign reinforced connection with sports and athletes in the customer's mind. So these are few of the famous endorsements and sponsorship made by Nike. You can imagine the fan following of these people, be it Michael Jordan, the biggest in the basketball world, Cristiano Ronaldo, Tiger Woods in the golf, LeBron James, Rafael Nadal, Derek Jeter. These all are the great sportsmen in their field. And if they are being endorsed by Nike, given their fan following, there is a very high chance that Nike would increase the sale. So this has always been with Nike that they have endorsed the great players and has grown at such a high pace. What has also worked for Nike is their advertisements. Their generally have an emotional connect with customers. Be it 1998 Just Do It campaign. Today, it is one of the most iconic campaign ever, and it is such a nice campaign that it has it has now started being associated with Nike only. So basically, what happened in this campaign was the this what happened in this campaign was the campaign was basically showcasing sports people, giving motivational messages and showcasing real athletes and everyday individuals striving to achieve their goals and push their limits. So this it encourages customers to pursue their passion, overcome challenges, and embrace a just do it attitude. So this has been a thing with Nike, that they make ads that emotionally connect with customers, and thus make an impact on customers' mind, and it has made Nike unforgettable. So these all are also some great campaigns done by Nike. In 2010, Write the Future campaign for FIFA World Cup. In 2012, the Find Your Greatness campaign. This campaign was very great. Like, it showcased that greatness is not limited just to athletes. Everyone can be great in their own way. There is no one thing attached with athletes that they could only do something and not you. It has so it increases the increases good vibes about the brand in customers' mind. What has also been one of the game changer for Nike is the Jordan collaboration. Today we all know everyone loves Michael Jordan shoes. Be it Jordan 1s, Jordan 2s. It is in today's world. It is one of the most flex things, and it is one of the most demanded shoe brand. So what all went into the Jordan collaboration, we will look into it. So Jordan was having multiple offers. So everyone was trying to get Jordan as the for promoting their brand, because everyone knew Jordan was going to be big in future. So they wanted to grab Jordan. But what Nike did was they saw a unique branding opportunity, and they signed Michael Jordan as by giving him an opportunity to create a separate line of shoe and apparel exclusively for Jordan, which would be the start of Jordan brand. So Basically, this all apparels and shoes would be would be revolving around Jordan. So it also they also provided Jordan to give his creative input in his signature shoes. And they one of the key things that this deal was possible was profit sharing. So basically, for everything sold by Nike under Jordan brand, a percentage of that revenue goes to Jordan, which was very unlike during that time when this deal was signed in 1984. Then also Jordan, over the years, there have been supportive marketing campaigns revolving around Jordan brand, which this revolving around this Jordan brand. So Nike committed to extensive marketing campaigns focused on Michael Jordan, turning him into a global superstar and creating a powerful emotional connect with Jordan followers. Jordan fan following was great at that time. So as the brand of Jordan as a person grew, the Jordan brand under Nike also grew. So it was all a win-win situation for both Jordan and Nike. Then in 1985, Air Jordan 1 was launched, and it was a cultural icon back then. Its unique design and association with Michael Jordan on on court performance helped solidify the success of the collaboration. And over the years, Nike has been continuously releasing new models of Air Jordan line, each innovate with new and innovative design, which has been a thing with Nike that they provide with the best shoes, best innovative shoes. They are the best innovators in the shoe field. So the Air Jordan line became a symbol of basketball excellence and style, creating a lasting legacy that continues till date, and it is growing even today. So this has been the Jordan journey over the years. In 1985, first Jordan 1 was introduced. 1997, first Jordan apparel segment was introduced, and this segment was also being also uh, wore by Michael Jordan in court and outside the court. So, given the fan following and fan following of Michael Jordan, the apparel also also started growing. In 2005, Jordan brand launched the Jordan brand Classic, an annual school basketball event to showcase basketball showcase event. This increased the brand visibility of Jordan. In 2008, Michael Jordan brand partnered with renowned fashion designer Don C to create Jordan Legacy 312, which has been a great success. In and this has been over the years they have been collaborating with different uh, with different teams and sports. Be it in 2018, they collaborated with PSG, one of the most famous club that has Mbappe, Neymar. So and currently Jordan is continue currently also even after Jordan's retirement, the legacy of the brand continues, and the new and more innovative products are being introduced. So this has all helped in creating the brand of Nike, creating what Nike is Nike today. So in next slide, we will be in the next part, we would be looking into how unbeatable passion of Nike as a company was. It how they went through all the upturns and downturns and still managed to survive. So these are the few instances when Nike as a company faced various. So if you are in a startup space, there are problems every time. It is the job of the company and the people in the company to overcome these problems effectively, efficiently. And the main motto of the company is to survive. If they won't survive, they won't be able to earn anything. So for able to survive, they need to face these challenges. So these are few instances where Nike faced some challenges and they overcome them. So initially, when during the stages, Nike faced a threat when they were accused of poaching by a wrestling coach in Long Island. He claimed to be exclusive distributor for Oniruska. He accused him of poaching and started demanding Nike to stop selling tigers in the West Coast. This raised concern this raised concerns about the legitimacy of the distribution potential and led to legal repercussion. To mitigate the risk, reevaluated their strategy and eventually decided to launch Nike and started making their own shoes. And today we all know what is Nike today. So this was one of the threat that Nike faced, and they solved it very gracefully and very wonderfully. And it has been one of the key factors that today Nike is Nike today. So the other problems were Nike was growing continuously on debt. So their banker was against the idea of rapid growth by not keeping any cash and reinvesting every penny into the business. And as there were only two investors, two bankers whom Phil could trust, and absence of VCs at that time led to uh, led to a struggle for Nike company, because they were struggling financially as due to huge debt burden. So despite these obstacles, Nike's determination and belief in the strategy eventually led to Nike's financial stability and reputation, attracting more investors and solidifying its position as a global powerhouse in the footwear industry. So this shows the passion of the founders of the company, Phil Knight, founder of the company, Phil Knight. So another problem faced by them was communication and delay by Oniruska in supplying goods. So they, as we know, they were continuously growing on debt. So they faced a challenge with Onituska, including Onituska used to had frequent delays in shipping. So this impacted the sales and cash flows. And as there were delays in getting the goods, they were sold. There were delay in selling them, and as there were delay in selling them, there was very less amount of cash left with the Nike. So they were on the ventilator, and anything could have gone wrong due to this delay, as being on high edge of the debt. They could have been gone bankrupt, but they eventually uh, faced these complexities, and feels determination drives him overcome these hurdles and transition towards building his own brand Nike, which ultimately grows and becomes a great success. So few more instances where Nike faced some struggles. A legal battle with Onitsuka. So after Nike was formed, the Cortez shoes was invented by Bowerman, and it was a hit, a clear hit. So this faced a legal challenge with Onitsuka. Onitsuka was renamed Nike, and Cortez was sold under Nike. This triggered Onituska, as they were searching while they were searching for alternative distributor for US under Phil's nose. So they basically were double gaming Nike. So and they they filed a case against Nike of breaching the contract of distribution of distributing under Ontuska name. But Nike also filed the case against them, and the case was fought between them, and eventually Nike won the case. And today Nike, we know that Nike is much greater of a brand than Ontuska, which is today as Asus. So in 1973, there was a problem with supply and demand. There was a very high demand in the industry, but the supply was very short. And given the Nike's limited production capacity, they were unable to tap the increased demand, and at that time they were also facing competition from bigger brands, and the bigger brands, already existing brands, be it Adidas, Onruska, and they were also facing competition from new age companies like New Balance. So they were losing their market share, which could have led to their bankruptcy, but due to the due to their it, due to their effective management of supply chain and striking balance between meeting customer demands and prudent inventory management, the challenges prompted by Nike to invest in Nike to invest in R&D, product innovation, and marketing, eventually transforming them into a dominant athletic shoe company. So, and increasing their efficiency in manufacturing and their distribution capabilities. And before 1972, Blue Ribbon Sports imported shoes from Onituska. So they faced the risk of exchange rate, and n- due to Nixon's, the president of US, decision on changing the shifting the fixed rate of US dollar to floating rate. This led to huge currency fluctuation, which could have led to very high foreign exchange losses. But due to Nike's to address these challenges, Nike adopted new financial strategies, negotiated favorable terms with suppliers, and utilized hedging mechanisms to protect against these currency movements. Their resilience and ability to adapt contributed to their success, solidifying Nike's position as a global athletic footwear and apparel brand. So in further, we would be looking into how Nike has been overpowering the risk of the industry, for being the shoe industry being highly competitive industry, and highly competitive industry, and how they build a brand inside this commodity product industry. So we would be looking into this. So the things that help Nike to overcome the risk of the industry, how they hedged against this risk, was the innovation. There was no one doing innovation such as so good as Nike. So Nike's success in shoe industry can be attributed to relentless focus on innovation. In early days, Nike introduced groundbreaking technologies such as waffle outsole, air cushioning, and the famous Air Jordan line. This all helped the increase the loyalty of customers and belief of customers that Nike would provide the best products in the industry, thus increasing the demand for Nike products. What also helped for Nike was their great marketing techniques. So as we discussed earlier, how Nike ads are very how Nike ads connect customers emotionally. So something that connects you emotionally, you are tend to buy it. It is more of a human psychology. So this great marketing technique of creating ads that could touch hearts of customers, increase touch hearts of a customer, created a powerful brand image of Nike. Then again, acquisition of Converse was one of the great strategic move done by Nike. Converse back then was a renowned sneaker brand with a rich history. By adding Converse into their portfolio, Nike gained access to a wider market segment and expanded its product offerings from just athletic shoes to more of casual shoes. So and Converse iconic Chuck Taylor All-Star shoes and retro designs appeal to a different and a larger customer base, allowing Nike to cater to various various style preferences and demographics. And the most thing that helped Nike to sustain in this competitive industry was their competitive strategy. So Nike adopted a comprehensive competitive strategy that involved continuous product development, aggressive marketing, and strategic partnership. So by constantly introducing new styles, colors, and collaborating with great designers, artists, and the athletes like Michael Jordan, the LeBron James. So Nike kept its product lineup fresh and appealing to consumers. Moreover, the company invested heavily in sponsorships. So sponsorships and partnering with sports teams and events. Further, this all further enhanced the brand visibility and captured the attention of sports enthusiasts worldwide. So this has all helped Nike grow to what Nike today is. Be it as we have discussed earlier, all the points, be it its human resource management system, be it its recruiting style, the most important, the product innovation done by Nike, be it what various strategies that were used by Nike to scale, be it how they face their personal company specific problems. This showed that Nike was not there for a short term. They were there to stay in the market. That showed the resilience of promoter. That showed the resilience of the team of Nike, which has helped Nike to grow at such a high scale. And today Nike is one of the greatest company. So now I would like to call all my colleagues to end this session and conclude it.
Thank you, guys. That was all from our sides. These were the key learnings that we learned from the book The Shoe Dog, written by Phil Knight. If you have any suggestions or comments, please let us know in the comment section. We will be happy to reply to. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.